What's happening, everybody? What's up, cuz?
What's happening?
New little format here. It's kind of fun getting to see everybody. I like it. Changing it up. I think Albie said he's going to jump in with us too. So
I know he's probably a little bit medicated today.
yes, he's on the ebb and flow. So he told me his times. So it's at 4, 8, noon. So he just took meds right now.
Yeah, exactly.
Just took meds right now. He's a mess. Well, cool. Well, we'll let a few more folks jump in, and then we're going to dive in. And new format. So we're going to kind of feel things out here, and the best way for this to work, and for us to collaborate. And one of the things that we wanted to do was just make it easier for folks to jump on and folks to engage. So we, this call that we do every Tuesday at noon Eastern is kind of a flow. One week we dive in, kind of more Q&A around agent attraction, what's going on in the Honey Badger, nation, what's going about, kind of where we're at there, any questions, anything that you guys need to help get unstuck. And then, the other week, we kind of dive deep on either a topic or a subject, and obviously open it up to any questions, typically a little bit more production related versus, this conversation's typically around increasing headcount. And so, feel free to jump in or throw a question in the chat, however, whatever works well for you. But appreciate you guys jumping in, and hopefully you've noticed we have the new schedule that has gone out. So we're trying a new app called Add Event, to where you can click on that and you can add all of the training calls and the things that we do coming out of the Honey Badger Nation straight to your calendar. So all you have to do is just open your calendar, click on the link that will bring you straight in. And we're actually even going to try expert mentors tomorrow, more in a webinar format instead of kind of the meeting format like this. So we're going to give that a go tomorrow to see how that goes. And it'll be interesting to try to go through this, but I think it's going to be for the best for sure. Because what's good?
Everything's good, man. Everything is good. It's a beautiful day in paradise.
Beautiful day in paradise. We got a little overcast here. It's going to be in the 60s, so can't complain too much. Albie, how you doing, brother?
I'm hanging in there, man.
We were I was telling Cuz that we know your med schedule now, so we know you just took meds. So hang in there with us.
If you see me get up halfway through this training and start licking my windows, you'll know why.
Well, cool. Anything that is either on either of your minds to kind of be thinking about as we're here in the new year, as it really pertains to kind of conversations, increasing headcount? I know, Al, you shared with me last week from the Alpha call, and then as well again on the leaders call yesterday, kind of talking about what Rob Flick kind of shared. And I have it written down here, but I don't know if you would like to kind of talk about that again. I think it's kind of important for everybody to hear that message over and over.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I got my notes here from Mr. Rob Flick. But we were on the leaders call Monday when I brought that up, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So for those that don't know who Rob Flick is, Rob was one of the first recruits that Gene Frederick brought in, I want to say 7 years ago. And Rob was at one time one of the top KW recruiters in Keller Williams, and grew huge organization, retired. And then when Gene presented Rob with this model about, like I said, 6.5, 7 years ago, he was blown away and literally came out of retirement to build EXP. And he's currently sitting at the number 1 or 2 spot with close to 20,000 agents in his organization. Now, I also wanted to point one other thing out, Jay. I don't know if you've kind of taken note of this, but if you look at the number 1, number 2, number 3 recruiters at EXP with the biggest organizations, none of them are on social media. None of them are an influencer on Facebook, Instagram, none of that. They did it the old fashioned way, and it's back to basics. And so, and I don't know who number 4 is, but we might even want to toss 4 in there. I don't know. But like, you know, Rob just kind of went over what he did for success, 2 to 3 presentations a day. He did tap rooting, you know, which is talked about in the book Building an Empire, which basically means, you know, when you have a recruit, finding out who they know right off the bat would be a good fit and getting them in front of the presentation. And he just did that over and over and over again. And someone asked him what's the number 1 lesson. And this is actually so relevant for right now, because I had a big grin on my face when he said it. The number 1 lesson he learned, and the one thing he would have done different, is he would have followed up and he would have tracked people that he spoke to. And we keep hearing that same theme over and over and over again. And this is even coming from the guy who has the most amount of agents in his organization than anyone at EXP. And it was follow-up, which is beautiful, because we're doing a 4-hour masterclass next Tuesday on follow-up. And it's one of the reasons why Jay and I co-authored the book on follow-up with Coach Burt, is to give a system to the follow-up so that things don't fall through the tracks, excuse me. And I know that it's helped me, Jay, John. I mean, anyone that's used this as their cadence on a daily basis for follow-up, they've seen great results. So that was one thing I wrote down, number 1 lesson. He asked lots of questions when he sat down with people. One of the lines I wrote down that he used often is that, would you be offended if I connected you to my partner? We always say, hey, would you have time to get on a 3-way call? And maybe you're getting no's. Would you be offended if I connected you to one of my partners who's killing it? He used that same line over and over and over again, and it was money. And agents aren't looking to change brokers. They're looking for someone to follow. That was huge.
That is huge.
And one of my favorite lines from Rob Flick was, he said, I wish stupid hurt sometimes. I just love that one.
Yeah. I think one of the things too, Al, that you shared, right, that he talked about, you know, the basics aren't sexy, yet the results are. And I was listening to John Harp recommended one of Ed Milet's podcasts from last year with Alan Stein Jr., who is he's a high performance coach, and he has authored oh geez, where is it? Geez, I can't even think of what it is, but he works with he's worked with professional basketball players, high performance coach. He worked with Kobe, he worked with KD, he worked with Steph, and he tells the story on the podcast right from the jump. And what he says is that this was back in 2007, and just kind of an up and coming, you know, coach. And he asked Kobe if he could come to one of the, you know, the Kobe's workouts. And so during the off season, what he said is that, you know, most of the NBA players, they do two workout sessions, one in the morning, one in the afternoon. And, you know, Kobe was always Ed Milet's philosophy, one more. So Kobe would do 3 workouts instead of 2. And for him to get that 3rd workout in means he had to do it at 4 a.m. And so that young coach was like, okay, I'm going to impress Kobe. I'm going to be here at 3:30 waiting on him. And so he shows up at 3:30 and the gym's on. He hears the basketball going. He goes in and Kobe's already there warming up. And so he maybe Kobe got there at 3:15 and he was warming up to start his workout session at 4. And he sat there and he was like, man, I'm going to be blown away. You know, this is like, you know, this is 07, right? Kobe, you know, world champion, you know, MVP, just, you know, the top of his game. And he goes, it was the most boring, mundane thing he's ever seen, because all Kobe did for at least the first hour was just basic footwork drills, basic fundamentals, the basics. And he comes up to Kobe after and he said, Kobe, you're the greatest basketball player on the planet. Why are you doing the basics? And he said, Kobe looked at him and goes, that's why I'm the best player on the planet. And, you know, that whole podcast, I just cannot recommend it enough for you guys to go listen to. It was like June 17th of last year with Alan Stein Jr. And he said that conversation changed the way he looked at everything. You know, you've got the best person at the top of his game doing the basics, just the basics for an hour. And so I think, you know, goes back to what you said, Al, about that comment from you know, Rob. You know, the basics aren't sexy, but the results are. So cool. So Kat was asking, how do we register? So is that where it's at honeybadgernation.com is where it's at?
Follow up to millions.com.
Follow
Okay,
up to millions.com. It should be on honeybadgernation.com, but in fact, we're gonna have to send a note to Holly to add that if it isn't already.
Okay, cool. Awesome. So we got that. So follow up to millions. So Sean, yes. I think, and you guys can kind of add to this, but yeah, the rapid funnel tool in all of the training is inside of the rapid funnel tool. And it's actually a training session that you guys can jump on right after this call. We rapid funnel, the rapid funnel team, it's the Honey Badger app. You can go to honeybadgernation.com, you get access to the app. There's a 14-day free trial. I mean, it's pennies. What is it? $15 a month, something like that. Mm-hmm. And inside of that tool, which is the tool that we utilize for agent attraction efforts, inside of there's a coaching tab. And inside the coaching tab, there's all of the basic trainings that you need to set up and really, you know, model the best practices, the basics, the fundamentals for agent attraction. Jay's got trainings in there. Al did a live presentation that they recorded, that they chopped up, that they just added in there. So there's a lot of resources, but that is the tool. So Sean, make sure you get that tool. Awesome. Perfect. Got it. Guys, anything else that you want to add to that, either about the tool or just a reminder of some of the fundamentals, the basics to be thinking about, you know, as we're heading into the year. And I know everybody on this call is on the call because they're interested in increasing headcount. Any of the reminders, the things that they need to be paying attention to on a weekly, daily basis?
Yeah, I got a call. This morning. Actually, it was a text last night, and we hooked up this morning from Brian Carruthers, and he was just checking in, and he had done a call. I guess somebody from LPT had hired him to do a little training session for him, and he was just kind of taking notice on like what we know that they're trying to do. They're trying to tell off of our story, trying to say basically you're getting in early, that kind of thing or whatever. And he was just, you know, kind of going through some advice on like, you know, the importance of making sure everybody, like every person that you have personally sponsored should have at least one sponsor, like it should have sponsored at least one person, and just getting them to these calls, getting them, you know, just reaching out to them, making sure that they are at least, you know, in the process, trying to invite someone. So once you know what the process is, just teaching that to everyone in your organization and making sure that they're doing the same. He said that's the biggest thing you can do for the company and for your organization is if everybody this year recruited one, you're going to double, right? And so just, you know, being diligent about not leaving people out, even if they haven't really jumped on before, but making sure that you're getting them to at least recruit one person. And then, you know, he went on to go into if that doesn't work, then teaching your leaders to taproot and find, you know, 3 levels down, you know, somebody who is all, you know, going guns a-blazing, and it doesn't matter what level they're on. That was the other thing, you know, start a fire in the basement, making sure that, you know, it's a trickle up effect is you lose someone in your 11th level, and that doesn't maybe affect you, but it affects somebody in your 5th level dramatically. And so just making sure that you're taprooting and you're helping your team to grow.
Hey, do you want to expand on taprooting? Because I have a feeling there's a lot of people in here that are hearing the words, but don't really understand what that means if they haven't read the book, because the concept's super powerful. It's also super easy, but why don't we give them handles to the luggage?
Yeah.
If you wouldn't mind?
Yeah. probably not the best way to describe it, but I always remembered this whenever I either heard it or read it in the book, which was, sometimes duds lead to studs. And that means maybe you have this one person that, that hasn't really, engaged in recruiting, but maybe they brought this one person and that person brought 10 people, and there's a stud on that third level. And taprooting is reaching down several levels in your organization and helping those people find more people and helping them with three-way calls and really trying to, find the person that can lead to the biggest builders in your organization. And oftentimes, maybe somebody's only recruited a handful of people, but some of those people are really have potential, but they're not being led properly. And so, taprooting is going deep into your organization and finding those people and helping, making sure that you're reaching out to those people, that you're inviting them to these calls, that you're helping them with anything that they need, whether it's three-way calls or they need assistance with something. But that's essentially taprooting.
Love that. And I put the book in there for you guys. It's probably almost a must, right? Building an Empire with Brian Carruthers. And when you order and get that book, go ahead and get Freedom Manifesto as well. And the Freedom Manifesto will shake you at your core. And we always talk that there's I promise you there's nobody in real estate that wants to be showing properties when they're 86 years old. So everybody at some point will want some type of passive income in kind of one of their revenue streams into their business and into their life. And when you just go through and you read Freedom Manifesto, it'll shake you at your core. And I know we have a lot of folks that have used that tool to that book as a gift, right? They gift that book to a lot of people, especially in their agent attraction efforts, because if they read that book, it'll shake them at their core. And so Building an Empire, Al had the book, so you can kind of see what that is. But when you're ordering that book, go ahead and order Freedom Manifesto as well. They're both by Brian Carruthers. Man, one of the best conversations last year on Expert Mentors was with Vincent Koo. And, Vincent kind of broke down kind of his 7 steps to agent attraction. And he said, all the 7 steps. And he said, there's only one that really matters. And he said, if you're going to become world-class at any of these things, become world-class at inviting. And he said, if you can become world-class at inviting, he said, everything else takes care of itself. And it's just like, it's like what we know, right? And Bill Walsh would always say, right? You focus on the certain things within the game, the scoreboard takes care of itself. And I think that's one of the things, right? If you can master the art of inviting, then everything else takes care of itself. And so, guys want to kind of talk about some things to invite people to give everybody on the call some ideas.
Yeah. The easy ones are getting them on these agent attraction calls, getting them on the rapid funnel call, inviting them to, making sure they know about honeybadgernation.com. There's a ton of resources on there. The invite to the Thursday training call with Wally, invite to the Friday funnels call with Braden, invite to all the events in between events. As soon as one event's over, now we're inviting to the next event. So there's always an event to be inviting to, and that process should always be going. You're always inviting them to the next event. Hey, well, you can't make this one. Okay, well, the next event is, whatever month it is. Have that stuff in your calendar up on the wall so you know what event that you're inviting to. Easy way to put all the people in your. We use an app called Reach. It allows you to send a text message from your phone to multiple people individually. It just makes the process easier to send. You can fire them off all at one time, send one message, type it up, invite them to that event. You can use the rapid funnel tool to invite to all those events as well. But those are the easiest ones that are always happening.
I would only add that, guys, if there's anyone on the call that has not downloaded the app yet, then I would challenge your commitment to agent attraction. So let's just start there. It's free for the first 14 days. So if you hate it, it won't cost you anything, and you can actually keep the app. You just don't have all the things inside of it. So the first thing that everyone on this call should be doing is downloading that app, like even right now from your phone or wherever. Number 2 is making the list. We can't invite anybody to anything unless we have our hit list laid out. And the hit list could come from lots of different places, but it should start right in your phone with the people that are, you know, the agents that you've had great co-brokes with, great relationships. Maybe you've served on the board with them, whatever it is, start with those. And then once you have that list, it's easy. You just start inviting them to the things that Jay had just said. The most powerful, the one that I'm getting the most excitement about, people like, oh, I missed it. Can you, is the Funnel Fridays. That seems to be the hottest ticket. But any of them are going to be all good. But that seems to be, for me, the one that's the hottest. But you got to get the list made. And I wanted to share one quick other thing before we're done here. I got a recruiting call from a lady who is an agent with Fathom. And their model is weak. It's nothing that's going to compete with us. But anytime I get a recruiting call, I'm like, yes, I will absolutely be open-minded to listening. So the bottom line is, guys, like, I listened to her pitch, and her pitch was, hey, so I heard you at EXP, you guys just, your fees just went up a little bit, huh? So they're using that, and our fees have not gone up. That's BS. But that's the narrative that's going around, because certain states have established sales tax on some fees, and that, because of the tax, it went up, but our fee didn't go up, but the tax made it look like it went up, and Ohio's one of them. So they're just pounding. So I'm just, they're pounding the phones. I think I got a random text message from this girl, and I actually went and yesterday I listened to her pitch, and then I pitched her EXP, and I think I got her interested in coming over, but she's a paid recruiter. So she doesn't sell real estate. She actually gets paid a salary to recruit. My point is this: the opportunities to build your list are everywhere. You just have to have your eyes open and be ready to recognize them when they come across. I had another lady that I don't really even know her that well, but she's an agent here in Cleveland, been following her on social forever. And I just gave her I try to compliment people as much as I possibly can when they start to sing their own praises on social media about how great they did in 2022. Even though that makes me cringe a little bit, I go in there and I'm like, oh man, I love seeing you win. Great. Congratulations. So proud of you. And I got this long message like, my gosh, thank you so much for taking the time to da, 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 da. And it just opened up the gate. So you just have to look for the opportunities and just keep building your list. It's boring, but that's it. And then the invite's easy.
Love it. Love it. Yeah, where Oklahoma's one of them as well with the sales tax. So yeah, the fee didn't go up. It looks that way. It's funny they're saying that. I mean, Real's fees did go up. So, yeah, it's just interesting. I believe, a call today or tomorrow with somebody that's there that I will get an update on what their fee structure is.
By the way, guys, you can go to honeybadgernation.com, scroll down to the bottom, and the times for all of these calls are listed there. I'm in that weird time zone, AST, so I'm not sure. I think it's 11 o'clock. I think it's 11 o'clock Central.
Yeah, Braden's calls 11 Central, noon Eastern, so 1 your time. Jay.
Yep.
Holly posted in the meeting chat for you guys all of the information about the Honey Badger app. So it's thehoneybadgerapp.com, and like Jay shared, the full calendar of events it's at honeybadgernation.com, but you can also go to calendar.honeybadgernation.com, and it'll take you to that add event to where you can just click on the button and add everything to your calendar, add all of these calls to your calendar. It says the group code is not valid.
I think it's just Honey Badger. I don't know that is the code Honey Badger Nation or just Honey Badger? I think it's just Honey Badger.
Boom. That's it. Yeah. Honey Badger. We do have a couple minutes. Cuz have you done the EXP versus Real comparison? I know we only got a couple minutes.
Yeah.
I don't know how you can do the
Yeah.
overview of it.
Yeah. I mean, the short answer to it is, here's the important thing. You have to understand the reason people are buying into going over to Real is they think that they're getting in early. They think it's going to be easier to recruit. You make a little bit more on your front line there, but you only have 5 levels instead of 7. My numbers, my 6th and 7th level are worth more than all of mine at real. So if I take all my stuff, put it at real, my last 2 levels that you don't get at real are worth more than all of my first 5 levels. It's a significant difference. It's 46% less of an opportunity. And a new thing that they just announced that they're allowing dual sponsorship, which means you can cut it in half. Actually, you only get 45% if you have a dual sponsorship, which is going to encourage people to try to name 2 sponsors. So if you know someone and there's a superstar there in the company, they're going to want to name both of them. And so it's going to hurt the little guy. It's going to probably help the bigger guys a little bit because they'll get named probably more often. But even still, that makes, when you take all that into consideration, the opportunity is like 21% of what it is at EXP. It's not even close. The other big thing is they do not have the producers that we have. They do not have the production. They do not have the training. They do not have anything like what we have in terms of, if you are trying to sell more houses, this is definitely the place to be. The last thing I would say is the stock. The stock has been dipping, a little bit above $1, a little bit below $1, and it's at risk of being delisted from NASDAQ. The stock is not going to be valuable with a company that doesn't make money. They're essentially operating on a significant amount less of company dollar compared to a 16,000 cap, a $12,000 cap. So if you should be concerned about a company that you're joining being solvent, because there's been companies that go out of business, and this may be the next one that does. So they're gonna make changes, just like they're raising fees, just like we had to in the early days of EXP. We had to make changes to the model to make sure that it was, sustainability. And so they're probably going to have to make changes. There's no doubt. The stock is not owned by the founder and the agents of the company. It's a majority of it is by investors, which means that the board of directors is going to drive decision making in that company, which means it's not going to be ran through the filter what's best for the agent. It's going to have to be ran through the filter what's best for the company. Those are all major things to stay away from real, in my opinion. I think that they're selling a story, but nobody really knows what's happening going to happen with them in the long run. That's my 2-minute spiel.
Boom. I love it. Guys, thank you. I'm digging this new format.
Right on.
See ya.